All right, what's up, guys? Jackson Ape here, and today this is going to be our first installment of our home gym series. A lot of people are looking to start their own home gyms, whether that be in their garage, their basement, maybe you're renting out in a storage space and you just don't know where to start. So this is going to be a multi-video series going over different equipment and how to get the best out of the equipment that you're buying. So that way you're not just spending endless money, running your wheels, and not really building out a proper home gym per se. I think a lot of people can benefit from things like sandbags, medicine balls, sleds, a jump rope, maybe battle ropes, maybe even a heavy kettlebell or two. But a lot of people do need a good starting place for their home gym, whether that be in their garage or basement. And so that's what we're going to discuss today. So where do we start? In my opinion, the best place that you can start is going to be a power rack. Now, power racks are going to come in many different sizes and various forms. We have what's called a cage, so it's kind of like a rectangle or a square. Some are just simple two pegs that will connect to one another and just simply be a squat or a bench stand. Others may attach to your wall so you can swing it closer to the wall or swing it out so to save for space. Those are really good for garages, but I truly think that a cage power rack is going to be the best bang for everybody's buck. They do not all come the same. Some have more gadgets on them than others do, but I'm going to talk about ours. I think we got ours for a good bang for our buck. I'm pretty sure it was under $450. And we've had this thing for going on 3 years, and I've beaten the absolute piss out of it. So, and it's kind of a cheap rack off of Amazon. You know, it's no elite FTS quality, but it's held up for us. And like I said, I've abused the living hell out of it. It has a lot of features. First and foremost, like the landmine, this just adds some versatility to your training so you can do various things like rows or presses. Also, something that is beneficial is going to be a storage rack. Again, if you're going to be starting a home gym, something that is very important is having weights, right? You can't just buy the bar and the rack and not have any weights to utilize. You're not going to get very far. But having a place to store your weights is equally as important. Now, a weight tree is super beneficial, comes in handy, but that also takes up additional space. So having these little pegs off to the side of your rack for your weight storage space comes in handy. Also, having one with an attached pulley system. Ours is bolted up to the top, so it's just part of the rack, which makes this, again, really great for versatility's sake. Simply because now I can do low cable rows, you can do lat pull downs, curls, tricep extensions, face pulls. You can kind of get really creative with this, and again, it just adds a component of versatility to your training, so that way you're not having to buy a separate machine or what have you. Another thing that is going to be very beneficial is going to be the various pull-up bars. Some racks will just have a straight pull across to where you can just do basic pull-ups like your PE pull-up bar. I like this one because it has a couple different neutral grips. It has an option to go really wide. Obviously, you can just put your hand here for sakes, but you can also turn around and do chin-ups. So this is a very versatile pull-up bar, and that's what also makes this really great because it gives me various options and ways to do pull-ups. And so this is, I think, one of the best places that you can start is to just get a caged power rack that has a couple of the bells and whistles. Not all of them. Some have the crazy extensions to where they have an adjustable cable to where it'll slide up and down. They have extra plate storage. It may be wider and bigger. I do wish I would have had one that had more space between these two pegs, just because once you get in the cage, there's not a lot of room to maneuver when you have a bar on your back. But again, the cage is great because you can get the safety pins that come with it. That way you're more protected and you're not just using squat stands or, hoping that you can throw the bar off your back if you're failing a squat. So that's really why I like the cage too, because the spotter arms, just an added component of safety. Now, the last thing I would recommend, obviously a barbell. There isn't one here just because it was going to take up space. But a bar is going to be very important. Obviously, if you're going to buy the weights, you're going to buy the cage. You're going to have the lat pull down, so you need the weights. But you need something to put the weights on, right? So you're going to need a barbell of some sort. If you're investing in a home gym, buy a quality barbell. Do not buy one that's going to bend. Don't buy one that's just a cheap $100 or $200 barbell. Buy one that's going to last, whether that's an Elite FTS, Rogue, Bells of Steel, what have you, whatever. There's some good barbells on the market that you can absolutely beat the crap out of. Texas Power Bars, We have a handful, and I use all my equipment because I want to get the most out of the equipment that I'm buying. I don't just buy equipment to buy it and let it sit there and collect dust. I want to use the stuff that I'm buying, and I want to make sure that it lasts for a very long time, especially because if we have friends or clients that train here, or when we buy our own gym someday and we use a lot of the equipment that I have to run the gym, I don't want people to be in a position to where they're going to get hurt. But you might have a different story because your home gym might just be for you, but that doesn't matter. Safety is important. You want quality products. Invest in a quality barbell that's not going to bend, that's not going to wither away over the seasons on you. Buy one that will last you 10, 15, 20 years, one that you can even pass on to your kids, and that they can even pass on to their grandkids. The last thing I will recommend for a home gym is investing in an adjustable bench. One that comes all the way up to the tippy top for a shoulder press, but also has a couple different settings to where you can do incline presses, tricep extensions, different incline curls, as well as chest supported rows and things of that nature. This also just adds another, again, versatility component of training that you can add, because then you can come do everything in the rack like incline and seated shoulder presses as well. Again, just adding to the versatility of the options that you will have at your disposal, starting with the bare minimum of equipment. This is all we had when we started our home gym. As you guys will see over the series we've invested in, we've accumulated a lot of equipment over the last couple of years since we've had our house. But this is where we started. I had a cage, I had a barbell, I had some plates, I had a bench, and luckily, because of some random Facebook marketplace encounter, I had a football bar and a buffalo bar, but those two things weren't truly necessary. All we had was a straight barbell, like I said, the weights, the cage, and a handful of cable attachments. I used that for probably almost a good year before we really started to save some money and accumulate more pieces of equipment. So you can get very, very far with just a bar, some weights, and a power rack, and a bench. And so I think if you're going to start a home gym and you're not just looking for little training workouts with some dumbbells or kettlebells, and while you could invest in a handful of dumbbells or kettlebells and just keep those off to the side, you can get plenty of benefit out of those. But I think a lot of people would appreciate and get a lot of bang for their buck out of investing in a bar, some weights, and a power rack. If you guys have any questions on where to get started for your home gym or what pieces of equipment to invest in, keep tuning into this series, as we're going to keep having videos come out to you guys that will go a little bit in depth on some machines and some barbells, and talking about how to get the most out of what you're buying, so that way you're not having an overcrowded space in your home. All right, what's up, guys? Today we're going to continue the series talking about how to build out your home gym. I want to tell you this is part 1.2, but I just forgot to talk about this. Another thing that is extremely important and is going to add a ton of versatility to your home gym is bands. There are a couple different sizes that you could go with. Have long ones here, and then you have smaller ones like this. You're going to get way less out of these, while they still have tons of benefits and uses. Almost anything that you can do with that, you can do with this. And so I would recommend investing in a pack where it comes with different size bands. As you can see, different thickness levels here. Give me a second. Gosh darn it, it's stuck. So as you can see, there's a couple different levels of thickness of bands if you buy a whole pack like this that can come with. So different resistance levels, different ways that you can challenge yourself, different things that you can set up. You know, you can attach them to your rack and attach them to the bar. You can put them at the top of your rack to do different things like tricep extensions or face pulls, just for some quick examples. You can use them for warm-ups, you can use them for finishers, use them for mobility, stretching, things of that nature. Having bands in your arsenal, especially for your home gym, is going to allow you to broaden the horizon of the amount of exercises that you can do, make certain exercises more difficult, and it's simply just going to add another element that you can have at your disposal for your home gym.